Assalamu alaikum rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Hope you're doing well. So the screenshot that I shared showed that a woman had caught her man cheating. So she went and tagged the cars and home of the side chick. And spray paint can be kind of hard to get off. And it's quite embarrassing what she wrote. It's, an outburst, a tantrum. But to me, when I saw it, people were making fun of it because they said, like, oh, this is black behavior. But I'm sorry, there's tons of white chicks who will slash tires and just totally go insane in key cars and do really bizarre things. So, what everyone else was, like, making fun of the woman for freaking out, I think that this just shows why adultery is so grievous and causes so many public disturbances within the society. And when Islam has punishments for adultery, to me this is great because some people do need to be kept in line. If you can't drive drunk because you're a threat to others, cheating makes it so there's a threat towards others. Now, I have heard people like James Sexton say there shouldn't be fidelity clauses in prenups, and I've heard women say, like, I want my husband to be loyal to me because he wants to be, not because the law tells him to. And I think that's pretty retarded, because you should want him to be loyal no matter what, regardless if the state forces him or he does it on his own, because he can bring you a disease and a crazy woman can come and harm you. And we have to start getting very serious about adultery. And I'm sure people have made mistakes. People make mistakes. They don't see the big deal of it. But if you start to promote a culture that has extreme social shame for it, and you publicize people being ruined for doing it, and you have a capital punishment for it, men will definitely change. And it takes two to tango. Women are more easy to manipulate. Men pursue women often. We know the story of Prophet Joseph, so that's an example of an adulteress trying to get upon a man, and he resisted. Okay? So if a man resists, that's a great thing. If a man pursues a naive girl and plays mind games, then we have a problem. And Red Pill teaches men how to do this. If you listen to how Daisy was talking about how Walter from Fresh and Fit got in her head, she's probably a liar, but either way, I paid a lot of attention to that case because I had prayed for the baby to be Muslim and not be aborted. She aborted it, and she's in a high-level escort. As in, she has like a manager and she goes yakting. So, there's a mess there. But I listened to her talk about how she felt about him, because people asked her, like, he's really ugly. Like, why would you fall for someone like that? And she's obviously searching for money, but Walter has bragged in the past about his mind games he plays. Now, he's a fornicator, not an adulterer because he isn't married. But a man like him, when he gets married, I doubt will stay loyal. That's just my personal opinion. And a lot of red pillars brag about cheating. Tristan Tate bragged about cheating. And he promotes that type of behavior to his young fans. I shared on my community tab. You probably could scroll back and still see it. And I'll also put it on my blog, inshallah, where he talks about, like, oh, I cheated on Hodder, when a really pretty lady was talking about, hey, if someone like me can get cheated on, you can get cheated on as well. Don't have a low self-esteem. She was just trying to help women feel better. And the men decided to say, like, oh, you're not that hot. And they were trying to tear her down and stuff like that, because they said she was being egotistical, when in reality she was just trying to comfort women to be like, hey, adultery hurts and it's normal for you to feel hurt. Okay? And so when you have people promoting that type of degeneracy, we have to remember that it destabilizes society. Atheists see no problem with cheating because they don't think the state should be involved, and neither do libertarians. They're kind of really into sexual hedonism. They're very perverted people, even though they mask it with turtlenecks and monotones. So, when I saw this post, you can kind of see where the woman's coming from, but that's not worth going to jail over. And it doesn't hurt the man, but it hurts the woman. And this is why the conversation of women will say, like, the patriarchy oppresses women, but women often oppress other women. Women don't really push others to not cheat, to say, hey, don't sleep with married men, and don't sleep with men who have girlfriends. Just don't do it. So it would be fascinating if women could teach each other to not do that. However, there are gold diggers who, well, they don't care as long if the man is married, as long as he's being a pay pig. Okay? And when you look at even people like Andrew Tate, who said, there's a viral clip that when he took the keyboard from his whores and started typing to the men and made them fall in love with this chick who's like really just Tate behind a screen with his shirt off, they would give their life savings. They would spend a lot of money. And these married men think they're going to get this bombshell girl, and that if they just keep giving her money, that they'll somehow be able to tap it. So these men are ruining their lives for a woman who's been ran through just for beauty. And so it makes the women worse, it makes the men worse, and destabilizes society and breaks up homes. Now the sad part is that atrocious, horrendous cretins like Pearl Davis will say that women, they shouldn't cheat, and if they do, she says, if women leave men for cheating, they're bad mothers. That they should stay. They shouldn't break up their home. Meanwhile, she doesn't put any of that accountability on the men. She says, well, the women are throwing themselves at the men, so what are they supposed to do? She's actually said this. So she infantilizes men and makes it so they can't resist their lust urge, and that they can't overcome and discipline themselves. So she really lowers them to this sort of chihuahua humping a pillow level. That actually sees men as worse than I'd say how the feminists see it. But when you have people consistently telling women to cheat and telling men it's okay to cheat on their wives, we can see why it's time for America to have a theocracy. Because driving past that, you would hope that the woman who was the adulteress would wake up and realize what she did. And a lot of women can pretend to be heartless savages who just want pay pigs, but when they really fall for somebody and they get hurt from cheating, they think, oh, I'll just get another pay pig and I will just spend money on self-care, which is really just indulging in shopping and materialism, and I'll be fine. Some women can shut up that entirely. But to pretend that it's healthy for a female to not love, that's where you're going to run into some problems. I don't think you should trust a man automatically, but I think that you are supposed to guard your heart, but treat others how you want to be treated. Resist it. Resist committing such adultery. And I pay attention to a lot of true crime. You'd be very surprised how many women get lethal with the woman, or they stalk her. There's a lot of danger that comes from it, and you can't just tell beat brow women to be like, yeah, never get jealous, never get attachment, and just allow your man to sling it all around town and bring you back something venereal, and you should just take it. And that the children should see their dad as this sort of rabbit that goes around town. And that's healthy for society. It isn't. So what is the solution? Well, Islamic theocracy, where people are punished for adultery, where men and women fear it, and where public punishments are carried out so people say, hey, have some respect. When you marry, when you choose someone, live up to it. Rise to the occasion. And liberals like Destiny, they say, oh yeah, just share it, open marriage. Adam 22, just letting countless men sleep with his wife so they can make money. You can see what liberals, atheists have brought us. They've brought a culture where, and like in France, very secular nation, men aren't allowed to know if their kids are theirs. You're not allowed to get paternity testing. Think about that. Men are so cuckolded that if they see these kids like, hey man, you don't really look like me. Something's kind of off here. You don't have a right to know if he's really yours. So women can just slang it around town and go use a bull. They call it a bull. Get pregnant by a bull. Not the animal, but a man who's their sperm guy. And you gotta pay for that, and you have no right to see if that kid's yours. That's what secular atheists value. The woman being allowed to not have to obey a vow that she made. And so, before you think about being the woman to initiate the affair, to participate in it, just think about how embarrassing it would be for you and your community if someone did that to you. And think about how hurt that woman must have been while she did that. Ask yourself, if you go cheat, is that going to be worth the jail time, the prison time, the drama, the stalking for your 10, 15 minutes of fun? Is that guy going to protect you? Or is he just going to dump you? If you cheat, is he going to bring you an STD? Countless men don't get tested. They just pressure you and bully you and overpower your will. And then before you know it, you're not using protection. They bullied you. And now you got chlamydia with some gonorrhea in there. Is he going to pay for your treatments? Is he going to hold your hand through the pain? Nope. Right? So you have to have a strong will. So this picture that I shared, to me, was just a perfect example of the drama that comes through adultery. It's a destabilizer. It's a chaotic, ghastly consequence of doing the abhorrent behavior of cheating. So sometimes people just need a reminder. They need a pep talk. And that's what I kind of hope this video does, because some people struggle. Some men, they like to go after married women. And a lot of women, they get more excited when the man is married because they say, oh, well, if he was good enough to get married and he's stable, maybe he'll pick me and ditch her. Or I can siphon off some of his money. A bachelor is unpredictable because he hasn't committed to anything. And he hasn't really been picked. And so, when a man has been picked, some women see this as a sign that he's got it all right and figured out and he's a leader. Because he was able to get a partner in life. Get a partner to travel through this realm with. A companion. A helpmeet. There's so many different names that are just synonyms of each other. So, be careful, ladies. You think you can steal him away, but some men do cheat and they don't have as much attachment, and while your house is destroyed like this lady, and she takes him back, you got all that shame, and you didn't win him. So, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala help us to be steadfast, faithful, and help you to sincerely repent from any past action and transgression. And may men keep it in their pants, and may women keep their legs closed. And may liberal atheists stop leading America into the pits of hell with their decadent hedonism and ostentatious pompery. Ameen.